name is Alexandra Ficken. I am an actress, and thanks so much for watching and listening.
All right, so welcome back everyone to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan. For today we have on the show, what can I say? The incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary. I already say incredible, but I will say incredible again. Alexandra, how are you today?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for that. That was like so nice.
Yeah, absolutely. What better way to have an incredible badass day and start the weekend
Right.
than to be chatting with someone as badass as you know what I mean?
Totally. Oh my gosh. We all need it.
There you go. I couldn't agree more. So yeah, welcome here. It's incredible to have you here, and also I want to thank those who are tuning in. Now on the description below, you're gonna find all of Alexandra's social media. Let's follow her. Let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Alexandra. And you know what? Let's find out why she's super badass and legendary, right? So without further more, let's jump in and tell me, what drew you into the whole acting in the first place? Like, was there like in a specific moment or experience perhaps that made you realize, you know what, this is gonna be my passion?
Yeah. So, well, it's a little long of a story, but I'll try to keep it short. But
Okay.
basically, I grew up as a dancer. So it was always like in the ballet studio, in recital outfits, tights, leotards, point shoes, like the whole thing.
Mm.
Um, I live in Atlanta and grew up in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And I was a part of the Georgia Ballet Company as like a young kid. So it was like pretty intense. I was really serious about it. And I was like, this is my path. Like, I'm going to be a ballerina. That's it. Case closed. And then I guess it was like I went into middle school, and I remember we had a drama class. We like had to have an elective or something. And I don't know what it was. I guess, in sixth grade, and we're taking this class, and there's something that just kind of I connected really. Like, I love obviously performing on stage, but there was something about like using words to express my emotions and feelings on the stage instead of like using my body. um because ballet and jazz, tap, all of that is like all through, you're telling a story through your body, you're communicating through your body and your movements. But here in this drama class, I was like saying words and these scenes with my classmates, and it just was like something was kind of clicking. Didn't really think much of it. And then I guess I got into high school, and I was like, do I want to keep like doing this? I don't know. Like, there's ballet or there's like theater. I'm connected to both, and I kind of just took a leap. I didn't sign my contract for like the next company season to be an ensemble member at the ballet. So I just like went in head first in the whole like theater, after school plays, musicals, all of that. And I just fell in love. I was like, how do I get to do this all the time? So I remember I looked into universities that had like a musical theater program, and I auditioned for a few and got in one, and I just like kept doing it in college and did it for 4 years in college. I did on the side, I was still taking ballet classes, so I like kept that in my pocket. Um, and got my degree in both musical theater and dance. And then I graduated and the real world hit. And I was like, oh, wow, can I actually do this as a career or as a job? Can I pay my bills with this? And for a while there, it was not happening. I stayed in Atlanta because the film industry, we now have a tax incentive. It started around 2008, 2007, 2008, but it really started to like go off with this tax incentive. So a lot of film production came to Atlanta, and I was like, should I just like live home at my parents' house as an adult? Should I just live at home and save all this money and I guess try this Atlanta market? Like, I don't know. I had no idea what I was doing. But sure enough, like just kept going to auditions, kept trying, got an agent here. And then it's been, I guess, almost 12 years later, I'm still doing it. So
There
that's
you
kind
go.
of how it all happened. It was
All
that
right.
one drama class in middle school.
So basically, starting from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, basically. Good
That's
lyric.
incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. It's amazing back when you were a kid and you were just having fun, and then later on when you discover that that fun you have, you can actually make it into a living.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it really clicked or anything, but I guess there was always something that was like, yeah, you're going to do this. I guess because I already had decided about the ballerina,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
vision, going to New York, auditioning and being a dancer.
Yep.
Um, but I don't know, there was just something about using my words and getting to like speak and just when you get a script and it's so powerful or you just feel a connection to a character, it's just so cool to just let it out, and that's a part of you letting it out. And I think that's what drew me in. Not that ballet wasn't doing that for me, but it just was like a different challenge, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And tell me how you continue to challenge yourself and grow as an actor at the same time.
So great question. Because it's hard. It's
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I I've recently started taking more classes, which I think is really helping me. Excuse me. In the pandemic, I felt really, theater wasn't happening. We weren't going to set, like nothing, auditions weren't happening. It was a really hard time. And I thought I took that time to really reflect on like really what I want to focus on. And I was like, I've got to get back in class. I've got to like just need technique.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's a muscle. So, and I'm sure you've heard this so many times, but it really is a muscle to try
Mm-hmm.
to challenge yourself and grow. So class is always good. But I also love like, I know it's gonna sound cheesy, but I really love just like throwing myself into stuff that I'm not really used to or comfortable with, because I think it helps you grow as a person and then it
Mm-hmm.
helps you grow as an actor. So like I'm traveling like a ton right now, which I I'm putting it all on my credit cards and I probably like
Yeah.
I'll pay for it later, but I felt such a connection to traveling right now, and I think that it just like broadens your horizons and it helps you as an actor. So I've been like challenging myself to like get out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that's something that is really important, and having like a good support system that
Yeah.
helps you like grow as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. Like once you discover there's this huge world out there that
Yes.
is basically waiting for you to discover it. And once you get like a little bit of that discovering, and like once you see it, then you start to,
Yeah.
you get like this feeling that like basically you're like, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
should, like there's more things that you can learn, and like cultures, and even like going to, to another city, like having like that experience to be, yeah, like to be on your own or with family, friends, whatever, but to be out of your zone,
Yes. Yes.
it's
Oh,
pretty
I
cool.
mean, I'm a huge advocate for traveling by yourself as
Yeah.
well. I think that's like such a huge, we don't really like give that enough credit, because I think it takes a lot for you to be by yourself alone, maybe in a country you don't know the language, like you have to just figure it out. And then you also are open to like meeting all these amazing people.
Hmm.
Not that you wouldn't with other people with you, but I think you're in a vulnerable state when you're by yourself and you're just like more open to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because you start to understand that you're on your own basically,
Yeah.
if you have a problem, solve it. if
Yeah.
you if you feel sad, work on it, like there
Mhm.
is. But at the same time, that also helps you to grow up a lot and start to understand, to kind of be comfortable with yourself. I
Yeah.
do think that is one of the problems that we might have these days, that we don't know how to be with ourselves, you know,
Yeah.
and due to that we will do like impossible things to not be with our own. But
Yeah.
once you start to understand yourself, and once you start to really love yourself, it's I do think that those experiences of traveling alone helps you a lot to kind of understand more of yourself and more about your limits at the same time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it challenges you in a way that you didn't think it
yeah.
would happen. And you're able to keep yourself accountable. And yeah, you are like, in a way, showing yourself love and you're giving that space and that time and that energy towards
Hmm.
yourself. And that's why I just, again, this year I've been traveling a lot, and I've just learned so much about, and like just met so many great people, and that I would never have done if I just had stayed at home and
Totally.
done the same thing day in, day out.
Totally.
So I've been trying to, really mix it up. But I think as an actor or as a performer or even in any field, I think it helps you just as a human.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah. And moving a little bit here, tell me, and yeah, moving a little bit and focusing on your, the
mhm.
whole character. Tell me, how do you approach getting into the whole mindset of the character? Do you have like a specific technique or perhaps a ritual that sets your mind here?
Yeah. You know, I always go back to the script first and foremost, like really digging in and dissecting it and getting, like the beats and this moment and
Yeah.
really just like having fun with that. And then I think my next step is just, and I kind of just do, I think a lot of actors, we kind of like do it just naturally because we've done
Mm.
it a lot, but we just put our version of what we think the character might be, like we put a little bit of ourselves into that,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of forms this cool, unique character that has all these nuances and quirkiness, or, you know, because it is essentially you as this character.
No.
It kind of is, it's fun to really play with. And theater is very different from the film technique, but like essentially it's like kind of the same thing. I again going back to the script and just like finding everything that I need, and then collaborating with the people that you're working with. So that's kind of what I do, how I
Hmm.
approach
Yeah. And also, it's amazing the fact that you get the chance to explore so many things, you know?
it. Hmm.
And even though that you're playing somebody else, at the end of the day, it's you. I mean, you are kind of the instrument to it, right?
Yeah,
So pieces of like small, tiny pieces of the character will stick with you. So
totally. Always. Like I have like certain lines from plays or movies, or, and they're always kind of in my head.
hmm.
That And I'm always like, oh yeah, this moment in life like feels like that moment that
Hmm.
happened in this, or when I saw this, or when I played this part, or it's kind of full circle.
Yeah, and you can see also how much entertainment helps us. I mean, I'm super
Hmm.
sure everyone here has at least once quote a line from a film.
Oh yeah,
You know,
always.
it's inevitable for you to quote the line from. I mean, it happens, right? So, but my point here is that when that happens, you can see how really impact us, or like on a project, right? That when
Mhm.
your beloved character dies and you actually feel destroyed, you know. So
Oh
I
man.
find that amazing, like how much entertainment really inspires us and makes us understand more about ourselves too.
Yeah.
And back with the whole pandemic stuff, I think that was a breaking point in which all of us discovered how much we needed, you know, um, entertainment,
Yeah. An
films, plays,
outlet
things like
of
that.
some kind. Yeah. Yeah. And connecting with characters or
Yeah.
people on the other side of the screen. It
Hmm.
was so nice to be able to like, while everything was just so, there was so much going on,
Yeah.
we could come to a safe spot in our homes and connect
Hmm. Hmm.
in a way, which was so vital.
Yeah. Yeah. And tell me, is there like a particular genre or type of character that you haven't portrayed yet, but you would love to do it in the future?
Yeah. I mean, for a while, a lot of the film and TV roles were for a while there. It was very like younger roles, like high school and some college,
Mm-hmm.
which was always really fun because I wasn't necessarily that age anymore, but it was
Yeah.
fun to connect that again and get to play that. So now I'm kind of in this transition of getting a little older and seeing where I fit. And it's hard to tell where I am, but I really love the gritty. I mean, even horror. I really want to tackle that. But that gritty, like just gut wrenching.
Mm.
I mean, even just a lot of fight scenes. I don't know what I'm describing here. I guess like drama. I really want to connect with drama at this next phase, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
I've done a lot of like comedy, which has been so much fun and so rewarding, but I would love to really focus on that like not so like the
Mm.
bad and the ugly, like rough, raw
Mm-hmm.
material.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking a little bit of a mix between horror, action, drama,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's
Okay.
not too much to ask, right?
No, I mean I would say that so something between, I mean I'm just, but
Yeah.
something between Friday the 13th meets John Wick.
Yeah. 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 And like
Mm.
uh just like the drama of secession and like
Okay.
uh yeah, like just mind games. Just really fun in like it's just so interesting. Like I've been watching a bunch of this genre right now, and then of course
Mm-hmm.
October is coming, so
Yeah.
I'm about to like start my horror, and um I just get so into it, and it's so much fun to just watch characters get just show the not so pretty side of
Mm-hmm.
humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of like, yeah, a little bit of Friday the 13th, some John
John
Wick.
Wick. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll see that happen. Okay, I see
lots
that
of
happening.
drama, dark drama, but
Mm.
a little taste of comedy in there. I don't know. I don't know what genre you would call that, but that would be my top choice.
Okay, I like it. I'll be interested to watch in a project with all of that mix. And I don't think there's one.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
not. I mean, maybe there
yeah,
is, and I just haven't
maybe.
really found it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess more of the darker stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And fun enough, with some of the actors that I've interviewed who had the opportunity to participate in those type of projects, they always tell me that it's super fun. Especially
I know.
if you're gonna play like the villain on a horror project, that it's super fun.
I can't. I mean, when I watch horror films, scary movies, anything, I'm always just like, I bet doing this was so much fun on set, and
Yeah.
like what a good time it would have been. Like, because it's all just it's fake and it's not
Mm-hmm.
real, but it feels so real. So yeah, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, did you ever watch like this interview they did to Tim Curry? When he played it back in like some time ago, and then they were telling him how does it feel knowing that you traumatize a whole generation, and that his answer was like yes, that he was proud of it.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of people can say that. I mean, I was. I mean, even the new ones when they came out, I man, that was a wild ride.
Yeah.
Um, Skarsgård, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he just incredible, and like I'm sure he's like the nicest guy, and here he is like traumatizing the world. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah,
a
that's true.
fun
That's
just
incredible. And tell me, have you ever had like a role that made a significant impact on you personally? And if it did, did that like affected you at some point?
yeah. I mean, I've had some roles, especially in the theater world,
Hmm.
where it was really dr- pretty draining.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting a ton of sleep, and I, I mean, so it's so thrilling to be in a show, and you only have a certain amount of time. I'm speaking of in these theater shows, but
Hmm.
you have like a certain time for rehearsals, and then you get into previews and the opening night and everything, and with the lights and the costume, everything's so exciting. that I mean, I've definitely been in a position where I'm not sleeping well. I'm not drinking enough
No.
water. I'm not eating well either. My anxiety's through the roof and I'm not taking care of myself. So I've definitely found myself in, especially with characters that are really tough,
Mm-hmm.
mentally and emotionally. And then it starts to like physically get to me. Um, but there have been a few. The one that I mean, I just will always love and connect with so much. And I learned so much through this was actually a role in college that I had. This was so long ago. But it was Joan of Arc in St. Joan,
Okay.
George Bernard Shaw's. So I played Joan and I was like, there's no way I can pull this off. There's no way. I mean, like, this is Joan of Arc. And, this language is really hard. This script is like, it's a doozy, it's long. But somehow, like, and I don't know how this happened, but it's like, I did school and rehearsals and I did the show, like, and I also went to football games and I don't know how I did it all. Like, I guess I was like half asleep the whole time, but
Mm.
it was that was like one of the most rewarding shows I've done in my, college career or career. I mean, I don't know how much bigger you can get with Joan of Arc, but I got to do stage combat and we did broadsword and it
Mm.
just was like so amazing and rewarding. And that one has always stuck with me. So um, I think that hands down is like my favorite all time. I think it will always be my favorite.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I know how you were able to pull that through back then because you're a total badass.
You're sweet. Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
I rest my case.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I need to like
Mhm.
write that down somewhere so I remember.
You better do that.
Yeah.
I love it. And what do you enjoy the most about the whole process of bringing a character to life?
I really love like collaborating with everybody that's on the project. I
Hmm.
think that's like that's my favorite part. Um I think getting to connect with people and finding our characters together, or if it's the director, and if it's a collaboration, that's like my favorite. um that's my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
So
Hmm. Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I love it. And I mean, what can I say? I like one of my goals that I have on my bucket list is at some point I want to I want to be on a set, not for acting. I just want to see what the fuss is about.
Yeah.
I want to see like the whole thing. So one is that, and the other one be on the behind the scenes from theater, because some actors have told me that behind the scenes are like super hectic, and everyone is like just you will see everyone running here and there, like everyone super, uh,
Yeah.
like the whole vibe, but at the same time everyone is super busy. It's a cool vibe. So I want to
Yeah.
also experience that. Be like, okay, I want to see what that was about. So yeah, I find amazing the fact that you can bring a story to life using your body, let's say, and as we were saying before, like how
Mhm.
much can impact somebody else's life. The fact that, as I was saying, the fact that when you will see your character die or your character to a tough situation, and even if it is like a CGI character, and you still
Oh yeah.
feel for that, you know what I mean? Like, for example, something quick like in Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, when you see like the whole raccoon, and you're like, am I actually crying for a CGI raccoon? What sense is that? It doesn't make any sense, but it's like the
No.
whole thing that somehow connects you, and I find that pretty, yeah, pretty cool. So.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, what getting to connect with people is by far my favorite part of
Mm-hmm.
this process, is meeting so many incredible people and collaborating with them. But yeah, when you've got to go on set one day, you've got to go to behind the scenes in the theater. I mean, it is so hectic, but it all kind of comes together. It's so, even if something goes wrong, someone somewhere will know
Yeah.
what to do, and it's in the audience, no one would ever know. And it's just kind of really cool how everyone pulls their own weight
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes this thing. And that's why I always, I mean, I know the acting part of it is really cool to watch, and a lot of famous actors. I mean, they get the coolest opportunities and
Yeah,
interviews and red carpet and all this stuff. But I really try to tell people, like, it's a collaborative, it's a family effort, it's a collaborative effort, and a lot of people were involved in making that particular movie or
totally.
show. And it's not just about the actor. I mean, you've got the writers, you've got, the production people. I mean, they're just as important, if not more important. So that's why I'm always like, I love the collaboration part of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I want to go. I want to be on just watching. I mean, nobody's gonna know that I'm there. I mean, I'll be like a total ninja. I'll be just sitting, eating
Yeah.
eating some popcorns and just enjoying the whole
Yeah.
thrill of it, because it's something that got my attention recently. So
You should totally, you gotta at least do it. Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, I want to do it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. That would be cool. Um, and if I can get somehow an extra, just to quick appear, I mean
oh yeah, no, it's
that would
actually
be really cool.
that's a great way you can make some money, get some food, and like get
Mm-hmm.
to be on set and meet some cool people. Like, it's always I did extra work. I guess it was like my first couple year or a year coming back home from college. Because I had one of my best friends was in production, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to like come on set? We'll pay you, and you get to just like hang out." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" It's such a great way to kind of get your foot wet. It's like figuring out how it all works. So
Mm,
it's really fun.
I love it. I love that. Now, let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now, here's the thing. I have zero experience. So based on what you know, what do you think it would be important for me to like what do you think it would be a good place for me to start?
Well, I think that the the industry part of it
Yeah.
feels different than the art of it at times.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
will say that. So I will say the industry has changed a ton in the last like 10, even honestly, even 5 years
Yeah.
because of the streaming service,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about and go into with the strike and all of that.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, I would say, I mean, reading scripts is a great starting point, I think. Um, Also maybe like being in a class, um, like an acting, like a beginner for actor kind of class.
Mm.
Scripts, I think, are like such a great way to kind of know, and this can be a play, or this could be a script from a movie, or a TV show, just so you kind of know how, where that's kind of like the skeleton of it all. So that's kind of, I would think, where to start. And then once you have like those bones, and they're strengthening, and then you can like add the muscle to it. I don't know why I'm doing like an anatomy analogy all of a sudden, but
Yeah, yeah.
add the muscle to it, and it's like then you get like the organs going, and then I really say, like, you've got to have a thick skin. Wow, I can't believe I'm like still going. They've got to have a thick skin for the business side of it,
Mm.
because that's when it gets really tricky, and it gets hard, and you start to doubt yourself. But if you've got the bones of like the technique, and obviously the passion, and you really believe in yourself and your confidence, I mean, I've had to work on that a lot. Just kind of all of it. Once you feel like you're ready, then it's like breaking down like what websites to be on and how to audition, and then
Yeah.
that's like a whole other thing. So it's definitely a journey and a process. But yeah, I would say the first thing to do would be just like read a bunch of scripts and see if you like connect to any of the characters.
Okay. So basically go one day at a time.
Yes, thank you. Yes, one day at a
Oh,
time.
there you
And
go.
like, yeah, and having I've done this, I guess for as long as I can remember, I try to have a to-do list of something to
Mm-hmm.
do every single day towards my passion or the thing that I love or the art or,
Okay.
an audition or, I'm like, if I can do at least one thing every single day towards, you know, my career, then I'm doing it. I mean, that could be as easy as like going to coffee with a friend and talking about, a movie that they saw, like you saw, or like going to a movie by
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing something every day that is going to strengthen you, I think that's like the best. Yeah, you just take it one day at a time and like it'll start to add up.
Yeah, and also at the same time, if you are working on it one day at a time, you are one step close to actually make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you can't think too far ahead, which I do, and that's really detrimental.
yeah,
Um, and you can't think too far ahead. So that anxiety is going to be there,
yeah.
and you can't really look too far back because then that's when my depression comes in. So it's like being as present as you can,
Mm.
1 hour at a time, one day at a time, to just work towards the thing that you want to do.
Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, as hard as that is. Yeah, enjoy the ride.
I'll take it. All right. Now, what has been the most important lesson you have learned throughout your whole acting career?
Oh man, I mean, honestly, I think I'm still learning it,
Okay.
these valuable lessons. I think right now would be try not to take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
I have been taking it personally for so long,
Yeah.
not getting a job or getting the job and then like feeling like I'm failing or I just, yeah, try really hard not to take it personally because there's so many elements involved that sometimes it has nothing to do with you or me. And um, that's really hard for me because I like to be in control. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, the lesson I'm learning and I'm teaching myself right now.
Yeah, I mean that is inevitable. You know, I do think the same as you sometimes, and I have discovered that being positive and optimistic and like a whole happy vibes and things like that is like the most hardest thing ever. It's sometimes even nearly impossible, and being angry and depressed all the time is super easy.
Yes.
So that gets my attention every day, like what. But at the same time, I do think that it's that if it like, well, first of all, I mean, nobody likes being rejected, right? But then, I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, it was just not meant to be. It's like the most positive and healthiest way to see things, to be like, you know what, it wasn't for me now. There's a reason to it. I'll keep working on my craft, and then at some point, who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, for example, with the interviews that I do here, sometimes, I mean, I will receive rejections every now and then, but I'm just saying it wasn't just meant to be, and it happens because it has happened to me several times that an actor would say no to me, and a couple of months later then it's like, okay, let's make it happen. I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. And of course at that moment you're like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know but later on you start to discover that it was just part of the whole experience, and I do think that life somehow is guiding us the the version we are meant to be at some point, but you need to learn from those lessons, and you need to be fully, yeah, like be fully minded that it's not that whatever in the position you are right now is not gonna be that forever. You know what I mean? So
Right. It's constantly changing. Things are
yeah,
constantly changing and growing. And I think you made such a great point that it just kind of clicked that I think one of the most valuable, if not, I think what I'm trying to say is that just worry about the things that you can control
exactly.
because everything else, like you can't. And as hard as that is, and I think as humans, we just want that control, especially now in this type of society.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have anything we want at any time. Like the choices are endless. Like, and I just think that like there's so much out there that we cannot figure out or control. So
Yeah.
why are we so focused on that when all we have right now is like how we respond, or how how we feel and how we're doing. So I think
Yeah.
that, and that applies to like literally everything in life. So that, I mean, applies to the career and whatever path anyone's on, is just, focus on what you can control.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when you start to think like that, things tend to get more easy.
Yeah.
You
You kind
start
of
to,
like lift, yeah.
yeah, you feel like more relaxed, be like, oh well, you know.
Yeah.
And when you actually are, yeah, basically just pay attention and work on things that you can control, and then things you can't control, just meh, just put them away and don't focus on it, because yeah, and it's interesting, right? Like how all of that changed into a moment that, as you said, the fact that we can get everything on a click,
Yeah.
everything super fast from basically everything at this point. And I do think that somehow that has made us forget the worth process, the worth time, things like that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's not bad. I do think also that, for example, whenever you are creating something or doing something, and if you don't get the result you're expecting to, I mean, enjoy, like, embrace those small victories. You know what I mean? I do think that sometimes we are our worst critic, and we tend to be like more harsh to ourselves
Yeah.
that we do even realize sometimes, instead of just embrace your small victories and learn from them, and yeah, keep moving forward. So
Totally. Totally. And the whole comparing thing
oh
too,
yeah, oh my god,
like, and
yeah.
that's a whole other
Yeah,
podcast
that's
another
yeah,
time.
that's a
So,
whole other monster here, because yeah, that's also inevitable. But I do have another podcast with a friend of mine, and
oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, and we did talk a little bit about this, and I was saying that it's ridiculous how some people tend to, when we wanted to be somebody else, when you're not them, you're not
No,
that person, you don't know what that person did in order to be where they are right now. So just focus on you and work on you, and don't compare yourself. What you could do instead is, whoever you admire, take, see what you can take from them in order to put it in your own path, and and keep moving forward. Otherwise, if you try to compare yourself, it's like the worst thing ever. So,
yeah.
and it's
I
gonna always
mean,
make you feel miserable. So,
it will essentially, it comparison just kills you, because it you're
yeah.
never going to be enough in that regard if you keep doing that or you keep thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be something better, prettier, shinier, newer, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. And that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. Sure, it sucks, but that's how it is. The other day, I saw this interview, um, with this football player, in which he was saying that life is beautiful.
Mm,
That focus on your things, and whenever something doesn't work out, it is the way it is. Yes, life is unfair sometimes. Sure, it's a pain in the butt, absolutely. But don't focus on it. Just enjoy every day, and be grateful, and yeah, be grateful the fact that you are still living. And also that you are healthy. That you are complete in a way. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we tend to be, as I was saying, we tend to take things for granted, and we don't even realize that something so that we are like incredibly sensitive, that at some point our lives can, just poof, that's it. And we tend to be like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, and take everything, planning everything for tomorrow. And why not just enjoy today, and make sure that at least for today you did everything you wanted, and tomorrow it's a new day, and keep working on it. So
yeah. And just keep moving forward.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Incredible. Now,
Yay.
this is amazing. Now tell me, what do you think is like the biggest misconception people have about actors?
Well, right now, for sure, we're learning that we are not rich and
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's the main one right now for me is,
Mm,
you know, people that are not in the industry or really don't kind of understand it. I think they think this idea that everyone's like, all these actors are just really rich because,
mm-hmm.
they're on, Netflix and Hulu and all these streaming services. And we're learning, I think the world is learning that no, we don't even get paid for
Mm-mm.
that. Um, the I think the money issue is like such a crazy topic right now,
Yeah.
especially there's a huge gap. So you've got like the A-listers. I mean, they make great money, but then you look at, the day players or even the guest star, even recurring roles,
Mm-hmm.
they're just not getting paid the amount that you would think. So
Yeah.
which is why I have to mention the strike, and that's why SAG is striking. So, and with the writers and with the directors, even IATSE and Teamsters as well. So I think that's like the main one right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like important to talk about because I think people see like the red carpets and the really fancy,
Mm-hmm.
pretty stuff about it, which is great and fun, and the PR of it all is really great. But sadly, that is not the majority of the acting profession. So that would be my main one right now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have this when I started this platform and I did mention that I interview actors, the first question they always ask is who's the most famous you have interviewed so far? And back then I was like, what? Like, what do you mean?
Right.
But then later on I started to discover and be like, I mean, yeah, I mean, we only see the A-list actors, we see the red carpets and the Oscars and the award shows and things like that. We tend to think that that is their lifestyle, you know what I mean? But once you get the chance to talk to them and realize that, I mean, that thing is just like a tiny, tiny, tiny percent of all of the hard work you need to put in order to be lucky, to have like the possibility to be there. So yeah, I do think that like the whole strike thing was something that was meant to be, that was needed to, that it was really needed to to like to happen,
Yeah.
especially because of the whole thing that is going on. But also like to show people that also actors are humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're regular people like you and like you and me, like, and everybody else. They have bills to pay just as we do. They have they have to sustain a proper lifestyle in order to continue pursuing their careers, and also finding like a side job in order to pay stuff,
Yeah.
which it's normal. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say that as well. Like having the side jobs. I mean, I do so many different side
Yeah.
jobs, and especially throughout, like, again, like I was saying, when I got try to do this professionally
Mm-hmm.
after college, I was like, I don't even know where to start. And I just was like, okay, well, I guess I'll wait tables, I'll do babysit, I'll do this, I'll do that. And thankfully I had the opportunity to live at home and save some money, um and then kind of work my way
Yeah.
like to the next phase,
Mm-hmm.
um financially. But man, it's just like, I guess people just don't, you really do think about like the media and Instagram and all these platforms that just like highlight the really pretty parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that pretty when you look at your taxes and you're like, oh, I really didn't make anything this
Yeah.
year. And so yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my main one right now.
Yeah. Or with the gas bill, the electric bill, or when a bill comes by and you're like, oh, I need to pay this. Good.
Uh-huh.
And you had plans for the money that, yeah, I'm gonna perhaps do this, and then you're like, I think I'm
Well,
just gonna stay home now. So. But I mean, that is also like another topic that we might talk about later in the future. Like the whole thing that right now things are incredibly hard, and it's inevitable that for some people to be, like to live with their parents in order to save up some money,
mm,
which back then it was not back then didn't happen because things were like more easy, let's say somehow. But
Yeah.
right now, I mean, everything is crazy. Prices are like ridiculously,
Yeah.
like the other day I was just speaking with a friend of mine saying like, do you remember back when we were in school, and if they gave you like, let's say $5, you will be the richest kid back then because you will be able to
Yeah.
buy everything, lunch for everyone basically. And now with $5, you can't get anything, or like,
No.
like things like that, for example. So
Yeah, you can
yeah,
barely get like a stick of gum.
yeah,
It's
that's
the
crazy.
prices are ridiculous. And yeah, I have a lot I could say on the whole, like living at home. And
Yeah.
I was just so thankful that I had a family that understood. It
Mm-hmm.
was not easy, that's for sure, especially when your friends are all getting like cool apartments and
Yeah, right.
in the
Yeah, yeah.
city and going out and doing all these fun things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with my parents tonight. We're just gonna, watch the news, and then we'll watch, maybe a movie, and that's lights out by 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so that was a hard transition for sure. But I
Yeah.
was so glad that I did it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I was saying, I mean, you can't compare. It's
Right.
inevitable. I do have a friend that he managed to get his own apartment, his own car, and he gets to travel like every now and then. And I used to be like super jealous, of course. But later on I start to understand and be like, you know what? It's his journey, not mine. Things happen for a reason, you know? Um that's I mean, just because, for example, if you live with your parents, that doesn't mean that's gonna be like that forever. It's
Right.
okay. It's okay to regroup every now and then in order to kind of figure things out and then go back again. I mean, just because somebody else has like this amazing badass apartment, that doesn't mean that you're a failure. Because if you put it in perspective, there's people out there who doesn't have like a place to live. You know what I mean? So, and because we
Totally.
only focus on the things we don't have, we forget the things that we have, and
Yep.
we should focus on that in order to use those tools to shape it, yeah, to shape us into the version, yeah, into the bigger version, or into the original version, let's say, of you that you were meant to be. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Yeah, it's all a learning lesson.
oh,
It's a hard one.
yeah,
Ugh, and it's frustrating, but
yeah, of course. But I mean, what can you do, right? You can either
you
feel miserable to it, or be like, or suck it up and be like, it is what it is. So,
so true.
no. I mean, we're just speaking truth here right now. I love this. I'm loving this show by now.
Right.
Um,
Good, good, yay.
this is incredible. Now, moving on a little bit here. Tell me, if you could give one word to describe the feeling that
Mm.
you have when you step on stage or in front of the camera, which word would it be?
I mean, it it's not gonna sound. I mean, I think I'm just nervous. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I do it, I'll always be nervous. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why, but then I don't know what you would call this, but that nervousness is just like all over my body. And then something just clicks and you just do it. I don't know what that is, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's the feeling that I would describe. I'm just like so nervous, and then all of a sudden I'm just doing it because it's like my body takes over, and it or my mind, and it's like, nope, you're doing this thing. Say the line, do the thing. You're gonna act like this is so easy, and you're gonna act like you're not nervous. So I don't know what you would call that, but that's the feeling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So perhaps like the whole butterflies, and things like
Hmm.
that.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. Like
Okay.
I'll even feel shaky. My palms will kind of be sweaty, and then all of a sudden it just kind of just goes away because you're doing it, and they're like either action or the lights go down, and that's your cue, and then you don't have time to be nervous anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it,
And
it like
yeah.
goes from like
Okay.
0 to 100 like really quick, like just yeah.
Yeah. And when you realize you're back at home and be like, what just happened?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're like, did I black out? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what did I do? There have been times I've gone off stage and I'm like, did I say that line right? And you're just kind of in it because you feel the presence of the audience or you feel the eye of the camera,
Mm-hmm.
and your brain just goes, all right, you don't have time to think about it, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
once you like, once that opening night, those jitters go away, or like you're doing take after take after take, you just start, it just kind of starts to be supernatural. But that first feeling, I am nervous. I'm nervous.
Yeah, I can understand that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's interesting, right? That when you really realize you're like, huh, is that over?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
all of this preparation and is it over now? So
No, I know.
it's
It's like,
amazing.
whoa, did that? Okay. Well, I guess it is like take a bow, or
Yeah,
we just wrapped or whatever. Yeah, it goes by, and that it goes by so fast in that regard, because you're like, oh, I guess I'm done. I guess I did
yeah,
the okay. Or either you have it the next day, and that's really great because you have another show, or you have another
mm-hmm.
day on set, which is really exciting. Or you're wrapped, or the show closes and you're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Crap. Back
Yeah,
to back to square one.
yeah,
So
yeah. And then you realize and then you realize you're at home watching
yep,
whatever show you like, and just eating some chips and be like,
yep.
huh, okay.
Good day at work, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Hmm.
All right. Now, if your life were a sitcom, what would be the title? But also, who would play the fictional version of yourself?
I honestly have no idea, but I think it would, I guess, I think it would maybe be like an Emma Stone type,
Mm-hmm.
because I think she's the only one that can really do like my eye rolling.
Okay.
And probably the sitcom would be eye roll, because I'm always rolling my eyes at things and people, and yeah, and just life. So somewhere around something like that.
Hmm. I'll take it.
Okay.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Just one big eye roll. Like, ugh. And
That's
then
it.
I feel like Emma could do it. Yeah, pretty well.
I'll take it. I'll tell you what. I will hashtag her. Who
Oh,
knows?
perfect. Great.
Maybe at some point we'll have like a new idea.
I love it.
And and I think new ideas are needed, especially in this whole crazy remake era.
Yeah. Yes.
You
We're getting
know,
so much of the same stuff.
I'm
Yeah, I know.
getting sick of it. To be honest, I'm getting like a little bit sick of it. That remake of this, remake of that, remake of that, and I'm like, come on, there's so many cool stories that we could be
I know.
talking about, but instead you are butchering my
Mm-hmm.
something that I love.
That you hold so dear, and they're like, well, we'll just make like three more of these, and you're like, no, the original is where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why we love it. So
Yeah.
don't mess with it.
Yeah. To be honest, I missed the day when the whole thing was making prequels.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
was much that was
That was
much
more fun. Yeah.
yeah, a lot but lot more instead of doing like the whole remake and you're like, no. Or
No,
yeah, it's crazy.
all the time now. I know.
No. No. Now, let's say that one day that they're gonna make a film in which all of the characters you have played at the moment, they're all gonna gather to celebrate your birthday. But here's the thing, the film needs a name, so how should we call it?
Oh my God. So all the characters that I have played
Since day
are
one.
sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
It We're gonna need separate checks.
I like it. Okay. Oh.
Like no one, yeah, no one's Venmoing each other. No one's like cash apping. Like everyone has their separate check because
Hmm.
no one's getting along at this birthday celebration. The characters that I've played, there's no way. There's no way.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like imagine like this very long table,
Yeah.
and each character be sitting on it to make like this huge round table to it. Let's put a buffet on it, so people could be, and on the middle or on the front, you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be like, we're sorry, we're all separate checks. Thank you. Yeah.
Hmm.
Thanks for coming to my birthday, but
Yeah.
yeah, because there were some crazy characters. So I don't see a lot of them getting along or having a good time, which is really kind of entertaining.
You know what?
So
Let's make it happen at some point.
yeah,
That
do
would
it.
be interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a great idea for a script or a show.
Maybe we are just creating the next thing and we don't even know about.
I don't even know it. Yeah, that's true.
Let's make it happen. Now, if you could describe your whole career, but you know what? Let's make it interesting. This time on a drink. How should we call this drink and what would it have?
In the drink,
Hmm.
I think it would just be like straight up whiskey or something. And it could be like, what the fuck? Or like, sorry, can I cuss? I don't
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah, no, yeah, 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 you're fine. Yeah,
Okay.
we're not family friendly, so.
Okay, good. Great, great, great. Yeah, it would be like, what the fuck is this? And then it just be like maybe a bunch of different types of alcohol mixed together.
Mm,
That's
okay.
not that it's bad. It just is like, oh my gosh, what the fuck is this?
So I got this idea. So check this out. So it would be like a mix, like you know, uh, a drink, several
Mhm.
colors in which could represent the several layers you've been through, you
Yeah.
know? And then when people taste it, could be like, what the fuck she's been through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Like,
and yeah, and let's make it colorful so people would be interested to it. Be like, oh, I want to see what the fuss is about. To be like, who knows? Maybe someone would be like, oh, I love this. Or be like, oh, what the hell is this? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it can be acquired taste too. You
true.
get used to the ride and the journey of life, but yeah, you get used to the drink because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be very strong and colorful, like you said. But I guess when you taste it, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
And if
Because
yeah, yeah, and if you order it, it's fun because when you say like, can I have a what the fuck is this? What?
yeah, they're gonna be like, "Huh? What is what?" Yeah, something like that. I think is would be fun.
Hmm.
Um, because I think yeah, there are parts in my career or so far that I've been like, "What the fuck? Like what? Like what was that?"
Mm-hmm.
And you live and you learn. So
Yeah.
yeah, something like that would be my drink.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I'm the type of guy that sometimes gets into situations in which at some point I'm like, what? Why,
I'm engaged.
why,
Yeah,
why I'm here. So yeah, I can understand that. I
yeah,
like
but
it.
it's like a fun what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's not bad. It's like a
No,
fun one, like a
yeah,
dark comedy one.
yes, yes, we love yes, I love that.
Mm, that was interesting. Now, what motivates you? We all have those days that we just want to quit. It happens. It's inevitable. Happens to
No.
all of us. So how you manage to keep up, like optimistic and positive regarding of how, yeah, difficult or things or stressful things might be at that point.
I mean, I'll be totally honest. I've thought about quitting and just not doing something different,
Yeah.
and but at the end of the day, I'm always wanting to strive for it, and so I have to think that that means something,
Hmm.
that I'm still in this and I'm still doing it. Um, and I still love it. That's a whole other discussion. You really do have to love it. And there are days where I don't. Like I will be completely honest. There are days where I don't love it. And
Yeah.
you know, just because I think that's normal. And I think we're all human. Like we all can feel that way. But and I don't like sugarcoating things. So really what's really helped me is definitely like focusing on my mental health. That motivates me and helps me a ton, especially in this kind of career with so much rejection.
Yeah.
And um, I think being with my friends and my family is probably like one of the most top priorities for me because it helps me get out of my head. It helps me being around people that I love. It it just I feel like I'm flourishing. And when I feel like I'm flourishing, I feel like I can give the career and the industry, or like the business side of all of
Hmm.
this, like, the attention it deserves because I've been able to, connect and be fulfilled with the people in my life.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, definitely. So like mental health, friends and family, traveling, like we were saying, that's really helped motivate me. And then I guess just being true to myself, even though I don't even know when people say that, I don't even know what that means sometimes. But I think it's not abandoning yourself and just
Hmm.
keep believing in yourself. And like we were talking about, falling in love with yourself because, I think at the end of the day, at the end of all of this journey of life and being on this earth, like we just have ourselves at the end of the day and at the end of all of this. So, and I know that sounds really like cheesy and kind of like wild for the end of this interview, but I believe that like, and I haven't done that all the time. I haven't focused on myself. I haven't learned, um, you know, I've really put that off for a really long time. And I think now I'm starting to really focus on me and my heart and what I need. So it's so hard to do, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what, in a nutshell, that's what motivates me.
I love that. You not drop the mic now.
Oh,
Because I mean, what can I say? You basically spoke truth here.
mm,
It's yeah.
I
I
know
don't know
it's
what to
kind of
say.
heavy for a Friday afternoon, but
No, but you know what? I do think that we need to be aware of that. You
mhm,
know, it might be sour, perhaps, but it's something that needs to be discussed. That you need to know. It's like for example, when you think that one day you're gonna die. I mean, we're getting even darker now,
yeah, I know.
but like my point here is that I mean, that's gonna happen. That's inevitable. You can't escape death, basically.
Yeah.
But when you think about that, you tend to enjoy more the whole. Yeah, you tend to enjoy more things, and also at the same time, you tend to focus really on what you want and not wasting time on something that perhaps you don't like or perhaps you don't want.
Right.
And because we sometimes take things for granted, we think that we're gonna stay forever, and even like our brain might be telling us to not think about that. And due to that, we postpone everything for tomorrow, 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 and things like that. But when you discover that you can't escape it, it might happen soon, might happen later, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like when you put that in your mind, as I said, you tend to enjoy more the days to be sure that every single second of it you are actually doing something you love. Even
Hmm.
you know even if you are, for example, if you are having a side job, right, and you're having a 9 to 5, and you're like, how can I enjoy a second when I'm on an office job? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But but make sure you're working for the right reasons. You're working in order for what? To just survive, or to actually because you have a plan and a passion to it. It could be music, could be acting, could be modeling, photography, writing, whatever. So
No, I couldn't have said it better myself. It really is like it's again like we were saying, like the journey. It's the
yeah.
one day at a time. It's being present, but it's also challenging yourself to just be in the moment. And there are times
Yeah.
where I do not feel motivated whatsoever. I'm like, okay, why do I not feel motivated? That's okay to feel that way. So
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
can I do maybe just for today, to make myself feel better, or to challenge myself, or because that every day is new and it's a gift, but sometimes it doesn't always feel like that, and that's okay too. So it's really trying to fight the urge of of not being motivated, but but if you do have something that you love and are passionate about, then life's too short not to at least try it. At least try it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, as I said, it's something that needs to be told, and it's something that people should like consider it more, and not yeah, and not waste time to it,
Yeah.
you know. So I love it. Now my last question is,
Okay.
if we could make a film out of the episode we just did right now, you know
Okay.
you know what is gonna happen. We need a title again. So what will be the title for this film?
Um, I guess. Well, I was gonna say what the fuck was that? But no, don't do that.
Okay, okay.
Um, maybe one day at a time.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Yeah. Or or just enjoy being present. I don't I'm trying to think. Yeah. Take it one day at a time. Maybe.
Take it one day at a time. Okay.
Yeah. Or like title of I don't know why I can't why I can't think. Um you got this. Um
Um.
I'm trying to be positive. Being present, what we've talked about. Um like title for the whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I mean, I mean, it's simple. It's good. The whole one day at a time.
Keeping it real, telling the truth bombs.
Mm.
I know. Or you could just say, what the fuck was that?
Or we could say, "What the fuck was that, Alex?"
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
I mean,
Um,
because that's gonna be the title for this video. So
right. They'll probably be like, what? But hey, you might get more clicks. No.
I mean, it's curious, sure. I mean, if you see it, you'll be like, I mean, let's be honest. If you see a title in which it said, what the fuck was that, Alex?" You'd be like, "What happened?" So you want to see it.
I know. I'm trying to be more positive though, because this has been so much fun and so great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I'm trying to think of something like,
Perhaps did that just happen?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Mm.
did that just happen? Did that just happen? Um, I don't know. That's a hard question. Do a lot of people actually know what they would call their this episode?
No.
They do?
I mean, of course, that sometimes I will help them out sometimes, but most of the times they're like they come with a title already, you know?
What?
Yeah, I'm serious. Hmm. It only happened once.
Hard. That's impressive.
It only happened once that they told me, you know what? Can we just skip it, and then I'll tell you a title later? And then yeah, a couple of days later, they were like, "I got it." So that was the title. But
I
most of the
thought,
times they just remain quiet for a bit and then doof, speak, just throw it on out of the blue. So
wow. Well, that's
you know,
impressive. You I should have probably done that. I just asked like, can we find another day to
or we could leave it at one day at a time.
Yeah,
It's
one day at a
simple.
time.
Yeah, it's simple. It's good, and it's positive too. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more than what the fuck. Um, yeah, I guess that just keeps like circling back, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
taking everything one day at a time because that's all we can do,
You see?
really.
So one day at a time.
One day at a time.
There you go. I mean,
Great.
at the end, what can I say, Alex? I mean, you're a badass.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I
I
mean, the fact that you are pursuing what you love and you are making it happen and you are managing to go one day at a time. I mean, it's incredible. It's amazing. I mean, because we all know how difficult it is. We all know how easy it is to, feel depressed and start to compare yourself with others and all of that crap. But you manage to keep moving forward. You manage to keep it fun. You manage to keep, doing what you do, and that's amazing. And I'm super sure that our next conversation it's gonna be about the multiple thousand projects you've been in because come on, that's inevitable. That's gonna happen. So
Well, I can't thank you enough. It really means a lot. And I don't take it for granted, like these kind words. So thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
yeah,
It's really cool what you're doing.
I mean, as I said, what better way to start up an incredible weekend than to be chatting with someone as incredible as you? So, I rest my case. Also, I want to thank those who those who stay tuned and those who stayed here. Check all of this. Thank you so much. Now, as I said in the beginning, in the description below, you're gonna find all of Alex's social media. I mean, now we know why she's a total badass. So let's follow her. Let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Alex or hashtag Team Alexandra as you wish. But let's make her viral now. And again, Alex, thank you so much for making this happen. Keep killing it. Keep rocking. And I'll see you in the next one.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
All right.